Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That's something. I would have introduced you to that man, but I don't remember his name. And he's not wearing his name tag. Well, but you have somebody to introduce you. And I really should have known him, but I just Okay. Do you want more coffee or anything? Okay. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Because I just. What, Doctor Who? Do you get Netflix? Do you get Hulu? No. Then you can find DVDs in the library. But if you go to the ones that started before 2005, I mean, at the beginning it started out as a children's show, and then the people who watched it grew up with the show. So now the people who are the writers are people who watched it as children, and the show has become more sophisticated, and its themes have become denser and more interesting. And I would start with 2005.
Yeah.
And is it still going on? Yes, it's on BBC.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know, I'm a person who's like you. I mean, like the songs are always going through my head. So it didn't happen to me yesterday, but today, as you were talking about moments, I'm like, oh, if life were only moments, even now and then a bad one. So I've got like Into the Woods going through my head while you're doing that. So we're sisters. Good job. Are you pleased with how it's going?
Yes,
Good,
I am.
good,
Yeah.
good, 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 good.
I'm loving the way that you're reading it too.
Oh, good,
And I can tell that they are too.
good. And having Michael do it was just brilliant.
Yeah, I shouldn't be surprised.
Oh my gosh, was that your costume?
That's the coolest Halloween costume ever.
You were a TARDIS?
Well, I was the TARDIS.
You were a TARDIS. Oh, you were Doctor Who. Which Doctor were you?
I gotta see your costume. I bet your costume's better than mine.
Those are awesome. Those are,
He was, yeah, that's our scary one. He was Matt Smith Doctor.
bow tie Doctor?
Bow tie Doctor. See, there he is.
Oh, with his fez! You got a fez! That's
Did you know how I gave my dad candy? I put it in his hat. It's a hat bucket. Let's put it in his hat.
I didn't have much use of my arms that night, so he was cute.
I'm so glad I saw that. So where's your coat? Where's your coat over there? I'll walk you to your coat. Yes.
Is it tape?
It's taped to my skin because otherwise it pokes out. This is a microphone. Whoops. This is a microphone, and the wire goes all the way down inside my clothes, down to here. And I taped it to my skin because if I didn't, it goes bloop, and then nobody can hear me. So that's what it is. And then I'll take it off my skin, and I'll go ouch. And then, have you seen Big Hero 6 yet? So I'll go ow, and then Baymax will go there.
I'm satisfied with my care.
I'm satisfied with my care. We saw it day before yesterday or yesterday?
The part that I really like is when he said, "We climbed in the window."
We climbed in the window. I like, don't, okay, ready? No, it starts like this. No, it starts like this. La 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 la. Okay, I have to remember la la la.
All right.
I'm Vicky.
Hey, Vicky, I'm Evan.
Evan, nice to meet you.
meet you too.
And what's your name?
Louis.
Louis. Vicky, nice to meet you. Up, bump, blah, la 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 la. Hello.
Thanks for filling in.
Oh, for what?
I heard you were terrific.
Oh, you tore off my microphone. For filling in for what? Oh yeah, no, I was scheduled. To do this, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So are you coming or going?
Just coming to
Okay, good. We'll be here. Okay, see you later. Let my microphone. Okay.
Good experience. Now, let's see.
Little. You have to do it faster though.
Highways. Readers and yours.
Every. We'll be in touch.
Yes.
Okay.
I was almost going to tell you. Lay minister. No, what is she?
She's an intern. She's a student. Yes.
She mentioned all the Star Trek and Stargate and all that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at her and thinking she needs really tipped ears, like Leonard Nimoy had.
Yep.
When she was talking, I was pointed here.
Well, there's a new Spock now. There's a new young Spock. Yes. She would have. She would have appreciated that. A year, maybe a year or so. Okay. Okay. Bye, sweetie. Thank you. I love you. Bye. Hi, Lorna.
Reading today. Did you intend to have your mic live for the whole time?
No, I turned it off. I thought I turned it off. Oh, it's still on. Yikes.
Good morning, everyone. Let's take a moment for some centering silence. And now let us join for our in-gathering hymn number 395, but the words are printed in your order of service. Good morning and welcome to the FUS Unitarian Society of Madison. This is a community where curious seekers gather to explore spiritual and social issues in an accepting and nurturing environment. Unitarian Universalism supports the freedom of conscience of each individual, as together we seek to be a force for good in the world. My name is Betsy Hauser, and on behalf of the congregation, I would like to extend a special welcome to our visitors. We are a welcoming congregation, so whoever you are or wherever you happen to be on your life journey, we celebrate your presence among us. Newcomers are encouraged to stay for our fellowship hour after the service and to visit the library, which is directly across from the center doors of this auditorium. Bring your drinks and bring your questions. Members of our staff and lay ministry will be on hand to welcome you. You may also look for persons holding a teal stoneware coffee mug. These are members knowledgeable about our faith community who would love to visit with you. Experienced guides are generally available to give a building tour after each service. So if you would like to learn more about this sustainably designed addition to our national landmark meeting house, please meet near the large glass window on the left side of the auditorium. We welcome children to stay for the duration of the service. However, because it is difficult for some in attendance to hear in this lively acoustical environment, our child haven and the commons are excellent places to retire if a child needs to move around. This service can still be seen and heard from those areas. And speaking of noise, this would be a good time to turn off all of our electronic devices that might cause a disturbance during the hour. I'd now like to acknowledge those individuals who help our services run so smoothly. Maureen Friend is our sound operator. Our lay minister this morning is Ann Smiley. Our greeters are Karen Hill and Ann Hecht. Our ushers are Douglas Hill and Artis Kaufman. Our coffee is being served to us this morning by Jean Hills, and the flowers, the beautiful flowers, are offered by Robert L. and Louise Wilson. Please note the announcements on the red floors insert in your order of service. They describe upcoming events at the Society and provide more information about today's activities. And I have a special announcement. We are looking forward to our annual art fair next Sunday, November 23rd. We still have a few volunteer needs to help make this event happen, especially for cleaning up after this art fair has ended. I'm one of those folks signed up to clean up. I would love to work with you on that shift. If you can help, please please take one of the cards from the Special Events board in the Commons. That will tell you how to sign up, bless you, on Sign Up Genius for a volunteer spot. Alternatively, you could just talk to Leslie. And of course, we hope you plan to come shop with us at the art fair as well. There will be great goods to buy, great treats to munch on, and a great cause to support, our religious education program. Again, welcome. We hope today's service will stimulate your mind, touch your hearts, and stir your spirit.
We summon ourselves from the demands and delights of the daily round, from the dirty dishes and unwaxed floors, from unmowed grass and untrimmed bushes, from all incompletenesses and not yet startednesses, from the unholy and the unresolved. We summon ourselves to attend to the vision of peace and justice, of cleanliness and health, of delight and devotion, of the lovely and the holy, of who we are and what we can do. We summon the power of tradition and the exhilaration of newness, the wisdom of the ages and the knowing of the very young. We summon beauty, eloquence, poetry, and music to be the bearers of our dreams. We would open our eyes, our ears, our minds, our hearts to the amplest dimensions of life. We rejoice in manifold promises and possibilities. Now please rise now for the chalice lighting and join me in unison. We cast not our eyes below. We say to ourselves, we are how we came, wounded from struggles, triumphant in our survival, entitled by birthright to belong to this, the only humankind there is, saying, I am included, I belong, I am here, and I will be and do. I will breathe joy into a desolation. I will breathe peace into conflict. I will breathe life into destruction. I will be the earth I wish to see. I am growth and hope and glee. And now let's turn to our neighbors and exchange a few words of friendly greetings. And now will the children please come forward for our message for all ages? Come on up. Take a seat. It's okay to be first. Yep. Come on up. Hello. How are all of you this morning? Come on up. Some more back there. So I'm going to be talking to the adults later about a television show, one of my favorite TV shows that I'm wondering if maybe you've ever heard about before. You already know. What is it? Doctor Who, yep. And have any of you, oh, got a lot of cheers for that one. Have any of you seen Doctor Who? Yeah? Oh, see, quite a few people. People out there too. So one of the themes from the show that you might remember then is the idea that some things are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. About how not only is the TARDIS, the spaceship in the story, bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, but so are human beings too. And so I have a story here that kind of talks about that same idea. So for people who maybe aren't as familiar with Doctor Who, can kind of get an idea about this, about how people and also some things are bigger inside than outside. So this book is called Inside All, and it's by Margaret Mason and illustrated by Holly Welsh. And this first page has a quote by Albert Einstein that says, "A human being is part of the whole, called by us the universe." Inside all is a universe, energy flowing. Inside the universe is a galaxy, milky and glowing. Can't see. Inside the galaxy is a planet, blue and hopeful. On the planet is a land, green and growing. Inside the land is a valley, night winds blowing. Yeah. Can you see the wind? Inside the valley is a village, twinkling lights showing. Do you see all the twinkling lights? It's kind of like Christmas, yeah. In fact, this one's going to seem even more like Christmas. Inside the village is a home, warm laughter floating. Kind of looks like Christmas, huh? Yeah. Inside the home is a space, hushed and golden. Inside the space is a bed, cuddled and cozy. Yeah. On the bed are covers, deep and enfolding. Now, what do you think's inside the covers? You think a person's in there? Yeah. A cat? Under the covers is you, and maybe your cat. Sleepy eyes closing. And inside you is a heart, pure and glowing. Inside your heart is all. Love overflowing. So love is something that can be inside of us, but is so big that it just can't stay inside, and so it pours out and goes out to everybody in the world, maybe to your friends and your family, maybe to your pets. So we're bigger on the inside than we are on the outside. All right, so I just want you to think about that a little bit, and then the adults and I are going to talk about it more. Maybe your parents, whatever adults brought you here today, will talk to you about it too. All right, so we're going to sing you out to your classes now. The number is 398. Bye. The first of today's readings is from Today's Children and Yesterday's Heritage by religious educator Sophia FUS. According to the old story of salvation, death came into the world as a punishment for man's sins. It has therefore been something to be afraid of, an event that has evoked a feeling of guilt. Often people experiencing the coming of death into the inner circles of their affection cry out in their anguish, "What wrong have we done, O God, to deserve this punishment?" Such a concept of death as the greatest of God's punishments upon man is distasteful to those who have accepted death as a natural companion of life. It is in marked contrast to the attitude of Jesus toward death, which he saw not as something to be escaped, but as the very condition of life. When his disciples were bemoaning the prospect of their master's death, he said these unforgettable words, "Except a grain of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone, but if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit." The old belief in death as punishment is in marked contrast to the thought of death as a natural consequence of life. Without the death of individuals, evolution would have been impossible, and the monotonous existence of changeless forms of life would be the dull alternative. When one is able to accept a long-time view such as this, death can be regarded as a blessing rather than a curse. Emerging in our culture is an awareness of an everlasting life of another kind than the one described in Revelation. It awaits everyone here in this universe. Hard as it is to imagine, nevertheless it seems to be true that what we have done and been will make a difference, a small difference, in all that will come hereafter. Such a thought is in line with the belief in the unity of all existence. If this interplay of forces, this inevitable giving and receiving, goes on between each individual and the totality in so commonplace an activity as breathing in and out, what shall we say of other more intangible activities through which we are continually receiving and giving away? Is there an end to this interchange? What is an individual apart from these relationships? We give the seeds of life, and new personalities are born from them, while we experience what is called death. The new generation grows to manhood and womanhood. They surrender the seeds of their life, and still another generation is born. Thus life goes on and on, forms change, but life breathing through those forms survives. Life has already risen from the dead for every one of us 1,000,000 times and more. And whose life is this? It is yours as well as mine. It is mine as well as yours. There are no favorites in the everlasting life. As individuals with faces and names and characters, we disappear, yet there may be that which never disappears. One wonders, is there ever an end to the years of our lives in this universe? And now Vicki Jones and Michael are going to share a few dramatic excerpts from BBC's Doctor Who.
An English accent will not be attempted. They're just so alien. The aliens are so alien. You look at them, and they're alien.
Good thing I didn't take you to the Deep South.
Where are you from?
All over the place.
Well, they all speak English.
No, you just hear English. It's the gift of the TARDIS, the telepathic field. It gets into your mind and translates.
It's inside my brain.
Well, in a good way.
Your machine gets inside my head. It gets inside and it changes my mind, and you didn't even ask?
I didn't think about it like that.
No, you were too busy thinking up cheap shots about the Deep South. Who are you then, Doctor? What are you called? What sort of alien are you?
I'm just the doctor.
From what planet?
It's not as if you'd know where it is.
Where are you from?
What does it matter?
Tell me who you are.
This is who I am. Right here, right now. All right? All that counts is the here and the now, and this is me.
Here I am to help.
That's not why you're here.
Then why am I here?
Because I can't see it anymore.
See what?
I'm 907 years old, and after a while, you just can't see it.
See what?
Everything. I look at a star, and it's just a big ball of burning gas, and I knew how it began, and I know how it ends, and I'm probably there both times. But after a while, it's all just stuff. That's the problem. You make all of space and time into your backyard, and what do you have? A backyard. But you can see it. And when you can see it, I see it.
And that's the only reason you took me with you?
There are worse reasons. You're thinking of stopping, aren't you? You and Rory.
No, I mean, we haven't made a decision.
But you're considering it.
Maybe. I don't know. We don't know. Well, our lives here have changed so much. There was a time, there were years when I couldn't live without you, when just the whole everyday thing would drive me crazy. But since you dropped us back here, since you gave us this house, you know, we've built a life. I don't know if I can have both.
Why?
Because they pull at each other. They pull at me. And because the traveling is starting to feel like running away.
That's not what it is.
Oh, come on. Look at you. 4 days in a lounge and you go crazy.
But I'm not running away. This is one corner of one country, in one continent, on one planet, that's a corner of the galaxy, that's a corner of the universe, that is forever growing and shrinking and creating and destroying and never remaining the same for a single millisecond. And there is so much to see, Amy. And because it goes so fast, I'm not running away from things, I'm running to them before they flare and fade out forever. And it's all right. Our lives won't run the same. They can't. And one day, soon maybe, you'll stop. And I've known this for a while.
Then why do you keep coming back for us?
Because you were the first face that this face saw. And you're seared into my heart, Amelia Pond. You always will be. I'm running to you and Rory before you fade from me.
Are all people like this?
Like what?
So much bigger on the inside.
You okay?
No. I watched her die. I shouldn't let it get to me, but it still does. I'm a nurse.
Letting it get to you. You know what that's called? Being alive. Best thing there is. Being alive right now. That's all that counts.
I find that nothing's ever exactly like you expect. There's always something to surprise you. Between the idea and reality, between the motion and the act,
falls the shadow.
Huh? So, the mysterious doctor knows his Eliot. I'm impressed.
I wouldn't have thought you had time for poetry, Lazarus, what with your being busy defying the laws of nature and all that.
Oh, you're right, doctor. One lifetime is too short for me to do everything I like. How much more I'll get done in 2 or 3 or 4?
It doesn't work like that. Some people live more in 20 years than others do in 80. It's not the time that matters. It's the person. We're all stories in the end. Just make it a good one, eh?
My brothers and sisters in faith, I have a confession to make. I feel that it is wise at the beginning of any relationship for a person to be open and honest about certain matters. So before we get too far into today's worship journey together, I feel that I must tell you something very important. I am a nerd. I know, it might come as somewhat of a shock to you. After all, just because your friendly neighborhood ministerial intern makes science fiction references in newsletter articles and will be throwing a Dungeons and Dragons party next year, doesn't mean she's a total geek. It is sometimes easy to overlook the signs, I know, but now I must come clean. Yes, my friends, I am indeed a nerd, and more than that, I enjoy being a nerd. I flip when I see 20-sided dice. I drool over Stargate, Star Wars, and Star Trek. I wish I had a time travel device to go with the Doctor Who scarf around my neck. I also sometimes break into random music theater references. My apologies. As a bona fide nerd, I tend to prefer reading books to watching television, but there are a few exceptions. I don't always watch TV, but when I do, I watch shows like Doctor Who. Now, I know that we're not all Whovians here, so I'd like to give you a brief rundown of the show, hopefully without any spoilers. Last week, Michael opened his sermon with a brief story about the trickster Mink, who, after stealing the sun for his people, proceeded to steal time as well. In the television show Doctor Who, the main character, the Doctor, also stole time. More specifically, the Doctor stole time and relative dimensions in space, known in the show as a spaceship called the TARDIS. Yet in many ways, the show is written less like a trickster tale and more like a modern-day miracle play. In medieval times, Catholics used to present dramatic productions of the lives and adventures of the saints. These miracle plays focused on how the saints intervened miraculously in the lives of regular people. Doctor Who is sort of a humanist version of that. Like a saint, the mysterious character, known only as the Doctor, hears and responds to cries for help from Earth and other planets. He does not intervene in the lives of ordinary people in a supernatural way, however, whether divine or with magical powers. Arthur C. Clarke, yes, another nerd reference, I apologize, once claimed that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. This is absolutely the case with Doctor Who. The Doctor runs around in a not with a magic wand, but with a sonic screwdriver, a device that is part lockpick, part medical scanner, part remote control, and part tracking device. The Doctor also runs around willy-nilly throughout all time and space in a police box. The box is bigger on the inside than on the outside. It fades in and out of existence in random places. It has made mysterious and ridiculously anachronistic appearances throughout human history. To the uninitiated, the police box certainly seems magical, if absurd. However, in the universe of Doctor Who, the police box is called the TARDIS, or again, time and relative dimensions in space. The TARDIS is not magical, but instead is a sentient, shape-shifting, time-traveling spaceship. The thing is so advanced that the Doctor doesn't even know how to operate it properly. It makes its distinctive whirring noise and looks consistently like a police box for a reason. The Doctor flies it mostly by banging on this or that, shouting at it, and pulling random levers. And then there's the Doctor himself. The Doctor is portrayed as practically immortal, capable of regenerating into a new incarnation each time his body is fatally wounded. And like I said before, he's portrayed as a saint-like being. He hears the prayers of people in need and has appeared numerous times throughout human history to intervene. His interventions may seem miraculous, but really are accomplished with just the right combination of reason, technological aptitude, daring, luck, and a dash of sheer audacity. He seems practically godlike at times, but is basically a time-traveling, shape-shifting, humanoid extraterrestrial called a Time Lord. Yep, Doctor Who is a humanist miracle play, all right, emphasizing science, reason, naturalistic explanations, and our topic today, the amazing potential of human beings. In fact, many of the themes of the television show relate back to our Unitarian Universalist first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. As you saw earlier in the dramatic excerpts from the show, an ongoing trope in Doctor Who is the idea that things are bigger on the inside than they are outside. This image is usually used to describe the TARDIS, the police box-shaped spaceship that indeed is far larger inside than it appears to be on the outside, with libraries and swimming pools and various rooms on the inside. This paradox continually mystifies and delights the humans who encounter the ship for the first time. But then, when the TARDIS is given a human form and a voice with which to speak, she is herself astonished that human beings also appear so much bigger on the inside than on the outside. And thus, a whole new view of human worth and dignity becomes possible. We humans are not immortal beings, but mortal beings. We do not flit on a whim through random points in time. We are born, progress through life from one moment to another precious moment, and then we die. Our lives here on earth, against the awesome march of endless time, are so fragile. Our time so very, very brief. In a way, our worth and dignity are deeply tied to this, to the fact that we are immensely improbable creatures in the first place, rare on a cosmic scale, and rarer still for the brevity of our lives. We have worth and dignity because we burn so brightly, so passionately, here in our little corner of the universe, in our brief window of time. But our worth and dignity do not just hinge on the length of our lives, but more importantly, on the depth of our living. In last week's reflection, Michael reminded us that the mystics tell us that eternity lies outside of time entirely, and that it can be apprehended. In fact, it can only be apprehended in this immediate instant. Each individual moment of our lives, then, is also so much bigger on the inside than on the outside. This notion, too, comes up in Doctor Who. When a human being demands to know who he is and where he comes from, the Doctor insists that he can only be known in the moment. He says, "This is who I am, right here, right now, all right? All that counts is here and now, and this is me." Even this nearly immortal being, who has lived over 1,000 years and changed forms many, many times, must live his life moment by moment, can only be encountered and understood moment by moment. And how true is that of human life as well? Even our memories and our dreams and our worries about the future are experienced here and now, blending with the rich particularities of each present moment. The current state of our bodies, whether healthy or hurting or standing in snow or sunshine. The current state of our relationships, whether fulfilling or shallow or conflicted. The current state of our souls, whether connected and aware and whole, or isolated and oblivious and broken. All of these streams of our being flow together to form us in the present moment, to form our experience of the present moment. We are, in each moment, so much bigger on the inside than we are on the outside. However, the title of my reflection is, of course, "We are all stories in the end," not "we are all moments in the end." You heard the line earlier in the brief dramatic excerpts from the show. A story is not an endless moment experienced outside of time, but a series of moments experienced in time. A story is a progression of acts and experiences that are linked together by meaning and driven by character. We are, each of us, a story, a very long story that is even bigger on the inside than on the outside. Just think about it. Think of your life as a closed book. Now imagine opening that book. What all is in there? Pages piled upon pages, words heaped up upon words, each word conveying ideas and images, one after another, each of those linked like stars to a constellation, a whole cosmos of other ideas and words and images. Within each word are letters, and those letters make sounds, sounds formed by lips and teeth and tongue and lungs, sounds formed into little packages of meaning by an intricate dance of muscles and bones, of air moving in and out of the body, communicating everything in the story to those listening, touching and connecting with other stories, other lives, other people. Our lives are rich, are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside, not only because of the rarity of our existence, the depth of our experiences each moment, and the intricate story woven as each moment passes into moment. Our lives are also bigger on the inside than they are on the outside because of how our lives touch the lives of other people and are touched in return. In a sense, each of us does not merely live in ourselves, but in others as well. Pablo Neruda wrote in Ode to Things, "O irrevocable river of things, no one can say that I loved only fish, or the plants of the jungle and the field, that I loved only those things that leap and climb, desire and survive. It's not true. Many things conspire to tell me the whole story. Not only did they touch me, or my hand touch them, they were so close that they were a part of my being. They were so alive in me that they lived half my life and will die half my death." In the Sophia FUS reading earlier today, the question was raised, is there an end to this interchange? And whose life is this? It is yours as well as mine. It is mine as well as yours. As individuals with faces and names and characters, we disappear, yet there may be that which never disappears. One wonders, is there ever an end to the years of our lives in this universe? We pour ourselves out into others as they pour out of themselves into us, linking one person to another, one generation to the next, throughout all of our time as a species on this beautiful blue and green planet. Yet when it comes to the amount of time our species will have, the television show Doctor Who may actually be a little more optimistic than we are today in this global moment. At one point, the Doctor says of human beings, "Homo sapiens, what an inventive, invincible species. It's only a few million years since they crawled up out of the mud and learned to walk. Puny, defenseless bipeds. They've survived flood, famine, and plague. They've survived cosmic wars and holocausts. And now, here they are, out among the stars, waiting to begin a new life, ready to outsit eternity. They're indomitable." To be fair, this glowing vision of an indomitable humanity living out among the stars wasn't put forth today when our species, and indeed all species, are threatened by the realities of climate change. I don't know if the writers of the show were aware of global warming back in 1975 when that episode from which the quote came was aired. They probably were not aware at all. Though the first calculations of human-induced climate change were made back in the 1800s, scientific consensus did not begin to form until the 1980s. Today, however, Doctor Who's vision of a humanity living out among the stars is somewhat bittersweet. We live today in what spiritual teacher Joanna Macy has called the Great Unraveling. As atmospheric carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases continue to increase, the world is getting warmer, species like amphibians are dying, and people are being driven from their homes and their homelands by climate change. With no present escape from this planet that we are destroying, no whirring blue TARDIS to whisk us away, the idea that we might one day inhabit the stars can seem unlikely, if not outright absurd. Yet Doctor Who is not merely a modernist television show with an overly rosy view of humanity. It does not make the mistake of assuming that we humans will always do the right thing and it will be all progress upward and onward forever, to borrow a phrase from the Unitarian minister James Freeman Clarke. At numerous points throughout the show, the Doctor is furious with human beings and is well aware of our destructive capacities. At one point, after discovering that human beings as a species have committed an unspeakable atrocity, the Doctor pushes away his human companions, shouting, "Nobody human has anything to say to me today." Yet even there, human beings come through for the Doctor. One person stands up to him, stopping him from murdering an innocent creature to save humanity, and she finds a solution to save everyone. She does it by diving into her memories, leaning into all she has seen and heard and known, not only her own experiences of the dilemma she faces, but also her experience of the Doctor. And then, knowing it could kill everyone, but will save one innocent victim of human greed and fear, she saves everyone. The show is less interested in the worth and dignity of humanity as a whole, less confident in our collective capacity for goodness, and more focused on the inherent potential in every single human individual to stand up against great odds and do the right thing. It is not a potential that is always or even usually reached, but human potential for goodness is something that nevertheless has salvational power. We can choose to bless rather than curse the world as individuals, even if not always collectively. Even if in the end our species is unable to leave the planet, let alone venture out among the stars, due to our collective actions or forces outside of our control, still, even then, the way each of us individually live our lives matters. We have the potential to be good, even if the future is wide open and our ultimate fate is far from assured. We do it by tapping into ourselves, by drawing strength and vision from the inner well that is so much bigger on the inside than we are on the outside. And now I invite you to share in this morning's offering. Today's collection will go to support St. Vinny's Food Pantry. Please give generously. You may have seen a couple of elves lurking out in the commons before the service today. There's some FUS members who organize our annual family-to-family holiday giving program. This is our kickoff weekend. After today's service, you can visit the elves and sign up to help all or part of a needy family by purchasing gifts from their wish lists, donating food cards or just donating money. Be sure to read the touching letter from a grateful social worker that we've posted. That alone is enough to make you want to participate. We gather each week as a community of memory and of hope. To this time and place we bring our whole and, at times, our broken selves. We carry with us the joys and the sorrows of the recent past, and seek here a place where they might be received, shared, and celebrated. We pause now to acknowledge that Henry Hart has passed away. He died on Wednesday, but we will be celebrating his life, his almost 98 years of life, this afternoon at 3 p.m. at the Arboretum Center. So if you have a chance to go over there, I'm sure his family would much appreciate it. And in addition to those we just mentioned, we would also acknowledge any unarticulated joys and sorrows that remain among us, and that as a community we hold with equal concern in our hearts. Let us sit quietly together for a few moments in the spirit of empathy and of hope. By virtue of our brief time together today, may our burdens be lightened and our hopes be expanded. And now please turn to number 354 for our closing hymn. We're singing verses 1 through 3 only.
Worship
Like the cosmic dust following after the great Perseus meteor, we are the living remnants of time and all that has come to pass in its wake, briefly shining lights on the way to eternity. We are only visible to the naked eye for an instant. Take this time to shine like the stardust you are. May the light of our time on earth shine to bless the world and each other. Shine, shine, shine. Blessed be, and please be seated for the postlude and for the choral piece.